Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the Bitcoin miners and the crypto stocks. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with Bitcoin just briefly. Again, this is not a Bitcoin video, but we'll talk about Bitcoin a little bit. So you guys can see we have this kind of really ugly looking candle here. Um, I'm not really a big fan of this candle. I don't like it. The wick, in my opinion, on the downside is not long enough. So we may see a little bit further downside on Bitcoin. That just remains to be seen at this point. But of course, the RSI needed to cool off on the daily anyways. You guys got to remember we've been trucking upwards for nearly a couple of months. So a temporary pullback is expected and even perfectly healthy, to be honest, if this bull market is to continue, which I think it will. Just understand that 20 to 30% drops on Bitcoin on the way up to its all-time high does occur every cycle. That is actually normal. That is normal, believe it or not, for Bitcoin, whereas the altcoins, they get smashed even more. So the best time to, in my opinion, just my opinion, the best time to be buying Bitcoin and these altcoins is on the dips, like what we're seeing right now. But you can see there's some bullish divergence going on here on the 4-hourly time frame. So it's possible that maybe whatever kind of trudging downtrend we're seeing right now may be coming to an end soon. Okay, so next one I want to go over here is Coinbase. Okay, so I did actually think that it was going to hold this structure level. Technically speaking, if I am doing the structure correctly, it would be something like this, okay? Because again, you guys got to understand how structure works, right? So it's a resistance zone, or previous resistance turned into support. How do you know it's a structure level? Well, you basically would take whatever the top candle or candles is, the close of that candle, and that would serve as kind of your point to draw the line here. Again, just a little basic TA, right? The red candles, they don't close at the top. Okay, the red candle is closed at the bottom, so this candle would be down here for the candle close, this one down here. These tops on these candles, on the red ones, they don't count. Okay, but on the green one here, it counts because again, on the green candles, the candle opens at the bottom of the candle for a green one, and it closes at the top. Okay, so what we're seeing here is a structure change. We got a nice little bounce off the EMAs. What I would like to see this upcoming week. Again, we do have a holiday week. There is that. Of course, Christmas is coming up. Pretty sure the markets are not going to be open during Christmas. That is on the 25th. Most holidays, major holidays, anyways, federally recognized holidays, usually the stock market is closed and the options market. So, yeah, anyways, I'd like to see a bounce here. We did kind of crack this consolidation, even though we're above the structure. I do think we could bounce from here. It's possible. I'm aware that the EMAs on the other indicators are starting to kind of point down. So yeah, that's not great. Obviously, do I think it's going to last? It's hard to say. Time will tell. Usually when we get a pullback in crypto, we don't usually get it till, it seems like usually until probably about January. So the fact that we're getting this early means that maybe what the markets are doing is they're trying to preempt the move and then start pumping into January going into Trump's inauguration. That could always be happening too. Just want to throw that out there. So yeah, the same time we got this close to being oversold on the RSI for Coinbase, it was a huge move up. Again, keep in mind we had earnings around that time, but obviously earnings is not anywhere near in the future for the stock. But I just want to point that out as a potential, maybe, possibly a bottom coming here soon. Okay, so MSTR, next one. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down like we usually do. Okay, so we got the earnings coming up. Again, keep in mind, MicroStrategy is going to be alongside some of the miners as well, so that should be interesting to see how that plays out. Looks like we're getting a death cross here on the RSI. I mean, after this just absolutely stupid move, I'm not surprised there's a pullback. Do I think it's going to dump? Well, I mean, I don't know. That remains to be seen. I mean, there is a gap down here at 283 to kind of this 300 that could potentially get filled before pushing higher. That could always happen. And this level right here that I told you guys about before, 330-ish, seems to be holding. It's held for quite some time. So that's obviously a very bullish sign, right? Okay, so going down on the time frames here, so you guys can see that this This white line has held pretty nicely. Again, there's kind of been a couple slight candle closes below it. Maybe I move this down just a little bit, so it's a little more picturesque there, like that. So it has held, but again, it's hard to say if this is actually going to pull back or not, because Q1 is usually more so bullish for Q4 and Q1 for the miners, but also for the altcoins. But Bitcoin likely will still go up in Q1, so it should be interesting to see how this is going to play out. I'm not going to say that it's that MicroStrategy is going to dump in Q1. I don't think it will, but we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. Like I said, in terms of the earnings, so if MicroStrategy's earnings in February are based on Q4's price action for Bitcoin, well, we all know Q4's Bitcoin price action has been stellar. Okay. Bitcoin's been sitting at about 100,000 roughly almost the entire time of this last month. So, Q4 should be pretty good for the miners and for MicroStrategy based on that alone, based on the earnings. Maybe Wall Street bids the price up. We'll have to wait and see on that one. So Coinbase, the support zone is pretty much about the current area. So this 270 targets up here, 307 to 370. Again, this is not just for the yield max ETFs or the or anything else in the stock market. It's also for the actual stock itself. If you're interested in following us for the swing trading or options or whatever, we cover all that stuff. So 35% move here on Coinbase on MSTR. I'd be looking at kind of anywhere between this yellow line here for the gap, so 280 to about 330 as a buy area, and then all the way up at the top at 550 for a target. It's about a 92% move. Okay, enough of that. Let's get on to the miners. Okay, so we're going to start with Mara, since Mara is the biggest one. And again, we don't have Mara, but, of course, we're not going to be discriminative here. We're going to cover as many of these miners as we can, not just the ones that we have. Okay, so support down here is 1750 to 20. The target in this case could be anywhere from 2760 to 33. So the EMAs on these two indicators down here have been trudging down for a while. It's possible they could reverse soon. We'll have to wait and see. So about potentially an 86% gain here. The EMA's had a death cross on the weekly, or the daily, I should say. So that's not great. Again, that's a pretty nasty looking red candle. I don't like that. So maybe it does retest at 1760-ish before popping up. We'll have to wait and see. Do keep in mind there is plenty of time between now and the upcoming earnings that we're going to see for some of these miners. Of course, they can always change the earnings date. There is that too. So on the 4 hourly time frame, we're getting pretty close to oversold here. Usually when this happens, that's pretty indicative of a potential market bottom. One other thing I did want to point out too is also this. And again, I know this video is not about this, but I did tell you guys that we were likely going to hit a bottom in the traditional markets either immediately or pretty close to in the future from immediately, not too far in the future from now. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, because again, we have nearly gotten almost oversold on this stocks above the 50-day for both the Nasdaq and the was it the Nasdaq and the SM? No, that's the wrong one. Okay. For the Nasdaq and the S&P stocks above the 50-day, we've gotten pretty close to oversold. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is at a bottom, but it's either at a bottom or very close to a bottom. So once the markets start to reverse back to the upside, that could also provide some additional bullishness, some additional buying pressure for the Bitcoin miners and the Bitcoin or crypto stocks. Okay, so RIOT, next one here. I don't really like this sideways consolidation. It's kind of ugly, especially as this red candle. It's not great. I'm actually going to get rid of this. So yeah, I don't like that either. So yeah, how to go about this one? So we got above structure and then we kind of chopped around on it. Now we're back below it. So obviously it didn't hold. So the buy zone here, 1050 to 1170 at the EMA's targets. I'd be looking for the top of the wedge, so 1850 all the way up to 21. So about a 98% move. And again, do I think the top for the miners are in? No, I don't think so. I mean, the miners went even higher earlier in 2023 than they did during this current time. So I highly doubt it. I don't think the top is in for the miners. I think we haven't seen the big move for these things yet. It's just a question of timing. I mean, is it going to happen after Trump gets in office? Is it going to happen when we get the Fed rate cuts? Or when the market finally realizes that I'm not going to say the Fed's full of crap, but if it turns out that the Fed's full of crap and next month we do get another rate cut, once they realize that, maybe they just start skyrocketing for that reason. Okay, so anyways, CLSK. So I'm still looking at kind of these two white lines here that have held as support in the past to continue to hold. So anywhere from, I'd say about $10 to $11.30, somewhere in there. You still have this bull flag pattern that we're within that we haven't broken one way or another yet, which with a target of 22. So I'd be looking for roughly about that area as a potential profit target. So from the current price, just to get to that target, 100% gain. So I also do want to go over the 4-hourly time frames here with you guys as well. So you can see we're getting pretty close to oversold for Mara. For RIOT, not quite oversold really, but truth be told, right when we got right around the same 40 level every single time, it has meant a local bottom for for RIOT. I mean, the last five times, as you can see. CLSK, we're getting pretty close to that oversold too. Again, we got a pop last time we got it right around this area, around the middle of this month, and then last time in November we got a major break to the upside. And then even before that, when it was down here at $8 back in October. Okay, so HUD 8, nice big fat nasty red candle. Am I surprised? No. I mean, this thing just took off like a rocket from $12 to $32. I mean, that's almost a 3x. It's still in a bull trend. Okay, it's still in a bull trend, higher highs, higher lows. But again, a pullback is always going to happen. I mean, that's to be expected. So buy zone down here is 1760 to 2250. I'd be looking for targets anywhere from this 33. I'm just going to go ahead and say it all the way up here to 64 because, again, you could take profits at 28. But again, if you're holding these, are you only interested in a 28% profit, or do you want a 265% profit? I mean, again, what you really want out of these markets, you got to decide that for yourself. Okay, so the bull flag triangle pattern, we did not get a confirmation to the upside on this one. Again, this is a smaller probability. The breakdown of this pattern is a lower probability scenario, but it does happen sometimes. So that's what we've seen. So in this case, the buy zone would be 5 to 550 still. And then 10 to 1060 is going to be the target up there. So roughly about a 2x on your money. Not bad. 106% gain. BTBT. So we're retesting the EMAs. Is that surprising? No. Am I worried about it? No. I mean, you guys got to understand what's going on here. It's still a series of higher highs and higher lows, unless I would say unless we get a break of this level right here, I would say that's still a series of higher highs and higher lows. Again, ideally, with this being higher highs and higher lows, we would have wanted to hold this level, which we did not, which is not great, but technically it is still moving up. But if we get below here, then I'd be a little bit concerned, okay? But we're not seeing that right now. And again, we are in the middle of a crypto bull run. The bull run is just getting started, in my opinion. I don't think we're anywhere close to the top. Okay, so for a buy zone, I'm just going to go ahead and say that probably somewhere around this kind of 250-ish to about the current price. So 250 to 330, somewhere in there as a target, or a buy zone, and then 490 to 580 as a potential target. 136% gain. And again, why does this level matter? Because if we break this level, that is a trend change. That is a break of structure. That means it turns from a bull trend into a bear trend. So obviously holding this level would be extremely important for the bulls, right? Okay, BITF. So we finally got a confirmation move out of this ugly triangle. It does look like we're going to pull back. So for in terms of targets here, I'd be looking for anywhere from $1.05 to maybe $1.65, kind of right around the lows of those candles, pretty much where it's currently sitting as a target for a buy area. $3 to $3.65 as the profit target for the move up, for anywhere from 236 to 267% gain. Iron, so we got that double top. It looks like it did not want to break it, at least not immediately. So the EMAs, I'd say, is a good buy area. So anywhere from 877 going all the way up to 1170. Again, if you're a position trader, you don't care about the EMAs. You just want to buy in these zones, okay, the green zones, and sell in the red zones if you're a bull. Or if you're a bear, you want to sell in the red zones and then buy in the green zones, right? Obviously, this channel does not appeal to the bears, but I'm just acknowledging that they exist, okay? So anyways, targets up here at 1350 to 1840. 110% gain. Hive. So yeah, it looks like we might be getting a retest down here. Again, I want you guys to keep this into perspective. This is really just one, and I could even go way further back than this too to kind of prove my point here. This is really is just one giant, huge accumulation zone, okay, with the exception of kind of these moves up here. Mostly just sideways, right? Usually when that happens at the bottom of a move, which, I mean, again, the last time we were this low was in the previous bull run. Usually when that happens at the bottom of a move, that is accumulation. It usually means at some point this thing is going higher. We'll talk about that in the following video where we talk about smart money versus dumb money. You guys will see what I mean. Okay, so buy zone down here at 215 to 280, just to be on the safe side. Targets, I'd be looking at anywhere from this kind of 515 all the way up to about 760 on this one. For roughly about a 250% gain, so not too shabby. Okay, next one here, Wolf. We're still kind of chopping around in this channel. We do have a series of higher highs and higher lows here. So, and again, this high is being held, or this low is holding above this high. So, you know, we have not had a break of structure either. That's obviously a good sign. So I'd say anywhere from about maybe $6 to 680 as a potential buy area. And then I'd be looking at this golden line up here, this 16.25 as a target for about 173% move. And again, why are we talking about this? Because this is a major level, okay? This was a swing level before the huge breakout last cycle. And then, of course, you have your cycle top here in December 2021. What happened? We broke through it, came back and retested, and then boom, went into a bear market. Obviously, that's a big level, right? If I'm drawing a gold line on these charts, that means that that is a major level to look at in terms of structure and profit and all that stuff. Okay, so anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.